Anonymous just sent out this message to Israel. They said the following: "Greetings, citizens of the world. We are Anonymous Global, and we have a message for the Israeli government. Our vigilant eyes have been watching the atrocities committed against Palestinians under your leadership. The ongoing bombardment has resulted in unimaginable devastation, with thousands of innocent lives lost, including over 4,000 adolescents and many more injured and displaced. As an international community, we are outraged by these actions. We call upon your leaders and your government to cease these senseless attacks immediately. To the people of Israel, we urge you to demand accountability from your leaders and to speak out against this senseless bloodshed. Your voices have the power to bring about positive change and save countless lives. Do not sit by as your government commits atrocities in your name. Rise up and join us in our call for justice." End quote. In an era defined by rapid technological advancement and the omnipresence of the internet, the role of digital activists has become increasingly important during times of war. Among these activists, the loosely affiliated collective known as Anonymous stands out as a unique force for change. One of the primary ways Anonymous has contributed during times of war is through information warfare. The collective has often acted as a counterbalance to governments and organizations that seek to control or manipulate the narrative surrounding conflicts. By hacking into restricted databases, leaking classified documents, and exposing the truth, Anonymous has helped uncover war crimes, human rights abuses, and government cover-ups. An illustrative example is the case of Chelsea Manning, a former US Army intelligence analyst who leaked classified documents to WikiLeaks with the support of Anonymous. These documents revealed details about the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, including evidence of civilian casualties and military misconduct. Manning's actions and Anonymous's role in supporting whistleblowers underscore how the collective can expose the harsh realities of war, holding governments accountable for their actions. During times of war, governments often clamp down on dissent and restrict the free flow of information. Anonymous has consistently worked to amplify the voices of those who oppose war, oppression, and censorship. The collective's cyberactivism efforts include launching distributed denial-of-service attacks on websites and platforms used by oppressive regimes to suppress free speech. This allows dissidents and activists to communicate and organize without fear of government reprisals. For instance, during the Arab Spring uprisings, Anonymous played a crucial role in supporting activists in countries like Tunisia and Egypt. By disrupting government-controlled websites and assisting in the dissemination of information, Anonymous helped connect protesters, enabling them to mobilize and voice their demands for political change. As governments and surveillance agencies increasingly monitor online communications during times of war, the need for online privacy protection becomes paramount. Anonymous has been at the forefront of advocating for internet users' rights to privacy and anonymity. The collective has developed and promoted various tools, such as Tor and virtual private networks, that allow individuals to browse the internet without fear of surveillance or censorship. In times of conflict, online privacy can be a matter of life and death for activists, journalists, and whistleblowers who seek to expose injustices. Anonymous's efforts to protect online privacy have enabled these individuals to operate more safely and securely, allowing them to continue their vital work despite the risks. Anonymous has also taken a stand against hate groups, extremist organizations, and terrorists who use the internet to spread propaganda and recruit followers. In times of conflict, the online presence of such groups can be a source of radicalization and violence. Anonymous has launched campaigns to identify and expose the members of these groups, disrupt their online activities, and report their activities to law enforcement. Someone on social media just posted an interesting photograph taken via a live camera above Gaza's skyline. The live webcam displayed a view of the Gaza skyline, a testament to the city's resilience amidst turmoil. As the evening settled in, the webcam's view remained captivating, capturing the lights of the city illuminated at night. Then, something extraordinary happened. High above Gaza, a radiant, shimmering cross materialized in the night sky. It bathed the city in a soft, celestial light that seemed to emanate from within itself. The man who uploaded the footage said that the glowing cross remained suspended in the sky. He quickly grabbed his phone and began to take photographs of the live stream, capturing the breathtaking spectacle as evidence of what he was witnessing. The cross, with its luminous arms extending in all directions, remained a steadfast presence over Gaza. As he continued to watch, he realized that she wasn't the only one witnessing this extraordinary event. He reported that others in the live chat began to notice the object. Due to everything that's happening right now, some who saw the images saw it as a divine sign, with some suggesting that this was a sign of unity and understanding. These encounters often occur in moments of prayer, meditation, fasting, or during religious ceremonies. Accounts of divine encounters are deeply personal and subjective, yet they often carry a profound sense of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. As of right now, this isn't the first time that something like this has been captured, and throughout history, the phenomenon of these objects has captivated the human imagination, sparking debates about advanced life, advanced technology, and the existence of a higher presence. The phenomenon of glowing crosses challenges our understanding of the unknown and encourages us to explore unconventional explanations for aerial sightings. Whether these objects are the result of advanced human technology, atmospheric anomalies, a higher power, or encounters with something unknown, they remind us of the vast mysteries that continue to elude scientific explanation. Glowing crosses also prompt us to reconsider our place in the universe. If these sightings do represent encounters with something unknown, it could have profound implications for our understanding of life beyond Earth. As of right now, whether these sightings are the result of human ingenuity, atmospheric phenomena, or encounters with beings from other worlds, they remind us of the boundless mysteries that surround us. As we strive to unravel these mysteries, we must approach them with an open and inquisitive mindset, recognizing that the answers may lead us to new frontiers of knowledge and understanding about the universe we inhabit. According to the Pew Research Center's study conducted in 2010, approximately 84% of the global population identified with a religious group. This includes individuals who identify with major religious traditions, such as Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and others. In biblical literature, there's one entity that's more chilling than Satan, and that's God's right-hand man. Abaddon is a term that carries significant symbolic meaning and represents various concepts. The term itself originates from Hebrew and is often associated with destruction and ruin. Throughout different religious texts, Abaddon is mentioned in different contexts, offering insights into its symbolism and interpretation. In the Hebrew Bible, Abaddon is mentioned in the Book of Job and the Book of Proverbs. In the New Testament, the Book of Revelation mentions Abaddon as the angel of the bottomless pit, or the angel of the abyss. In this context, Abaddon is associated with a destructive force and serves as a personification of evil or a ruler over demons. The imagery of the abyss and its association with Abaddon reflects the idea of a chaotic and destructive power that opposes divine order and righteousness. Among the intimidating figures presented in the biblical Book of Revelation, Abaddon is regarded as one of the most ominous. This malevolent entity aptly embodies its name, denoting ruin and devastation. In the culmination of history, it emerges as one of Satan's commanding officers, a fallen angel in charge of the abyss. Together with its subjects, an army of supernatural beings capable of inflicting severe suffering on humanity, Abaddon initiates the fifth round of trumpet judgments illustrated in the apocalyptic vision of John the Apostle. Abaddon is mentioned 5 times in the Old Testament. According to some biblical scholars who are knowledgeable in the field, there are references in the New Testament that indirectly mention Abaddon's location without explicitly naming it. Unlike Sheol, where unrepentant people are said to go after passing on to the other side, Abaddon is believed to be a distinct realm where fallen angels are imprisoned until the time appointed by God for their judgment. Despite the fact that Abaddon and his followers cause unimaginable suffering to those who aren't saved during this time, the will of God prevails, and humanity will not be entirely eradicated. The function and authority of this fallen angel, as well as all other entities of hell, are determined and sanctioned by God himself, ultimately subject to his supreme will. The symbolic significance of Abaddon extends beyond its literal interpretation. It is often seen as a representation of the forces of evil, chaos, and destruction that can be present within the human experience. It serves as a reminder of the potential consequences of straying from a path of righteousness and succumbing to the temptations of darkness. Furthermore, Abaddon can be seen as a metaphor for inner struggles and challenges faced by individuals. It represents the internal battles between good and evil, order and chaos, and the constant need for self-reflection and self-discipline. The mention of Abaddon in religious texts encourages believers to remain steadfast in their faith and to resist the temptations and destructive forces that can lead them astray. The interpretation of Abaddon is not limited to religious contexts, but has also found its place in literature, art, and popular culture. In various works, Abaddon is depicted as a powerful entity, often associated with darkness, chaos, and the struggle between good and evil. These interpretations draw inspiration from the biblical references to Abaddon, using its symbolism to explore deeper themes and narratives. In biblical literature, demons are supernatural beings often associated with evil, temptation, and spiritual corruption. While the concept of demons has evolved throughout history, their presence in the Bible provides valuable insights into their role and significance within religious narratives. The term demon is derived from the Greek word daemon, which can refer to a variety of spiritual beings, including both malevolent and benevolent entities. In the Bible, demons are depicted as fallen angels or rebellious spirits who have chosen to align themselves with Satan, the embodiment of evil. Demons are mentioned in various books of the Bible, including the New Testament, where they are described as possessing individuals and causing various afflictions, such as illness and mental disturbances. These accounts demonstrate the power and influence that demons were believed to have over human lives. One of the most notable instances of demonic possession in the New Testament is the story of Jesus casting out demons from individuals. These accounts emphasize the authority of Jesus over evil forces and serve as a demonstration of his power and ability to heal. The presence of demons in these narratives also underscores the ongoing battle between good and evil, with Jesus representing the ultimate source of redemption and deliverance. The Bible portrays demons as deceptive and manipulative beings, seeking to lead people away from God and into spiritual bondage. They are often associated with temptations, particularly in the context of moral and spiritual choices. The Apostle Paul warns believers about the influence of demons and encourages them to put on the armor of God to resist their attacks. While demons are portrayed as powerful spiritual beings, the Bible also emphasizes the ultimate authority of God over them. Jesus' ministry is characterized by his ability to cast out demons and restore individuals to wholeness, demonstrating his power and triumph over evil. The understanding of demons in biblical texts has influenced religious beliefs and practices. Throughout history, various interpretations and teachings have emerged regarding the nature of demons and their influence on human lives. These interpretations often vary among different religious traditions and denominations. In contemporary society, the concept of demons continues to be a subject of interest and debate. Some interpret demons as literal spiritual entities, while others view them symbolically as representations of inner struggles, personal vices, or societal evils. The belief in demons and their influence on human lives can be found in various religious and spiritual traditions, as well as in popular culture. It is important to note that the biblical portrayal of demons reflects the cultural and religious context of the time in which the texts were written. As with any aspect of religious belief, interpretations of demons should be approached with discernment and respect for diverse perspectives. In biblical literature, the devil is depicted as a powerful spiritual being who represents evil, temptation, and the ultimate adversary of God and humanity. The devil, also known as Satan or Lucifer, plays a significant role in shaping the narrative of sin, redemption, and the ongoing battle between good and evil. The origins of the devil can be traced back to various biblical texts, including the Old and New Testaments. In the book of Genesis, the devil is portrayed as a serpent who tempts Eve in the Garden of Eden, leading to the fall of humanity. This event marks the introduction of sin into the world and sets the stage for the continuous struggle between God and the forces of evil. Throughout the Bible, the devil is described as a deceiver and accuser, seeking to lead people away from God and into spiritual destruction. In the New Testament, the devil is depicted as a fallen angel who rebelled against God, along with a group of other angels. The devil is known for his cunning and ability to disguise himself as an angel of light, aiming to deceive and corrupt humanity. The devil's role as a tempter is evident in various biblical accounts, such as the temptation of Jesus in the wilderness. In this story, the devil offers Jesus power and authority in exchange for his loyalty. However, Jesus resists the temptations, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to God and serving as an example of how to overcome the influence of the devil. The devil is also associated with the concept of hell, a place of punishment and separation from God. In the book of Revelation, the devil is depicted as a powerful entity who leads a final rebellion against God, only to be defeated and cast into the lake of fire. This imagery serves as a reminder of the consequences that await those who succumb to the influence of the devil and turn away from God's path. The interpretation of the devil in religious traditions varies, with some viewing the devil as a literal being, while others understand the devil as a symbolic representation of the human capacity for evil and temptation. Regardless of the interpretation, the portrayal of the devil in the Bible highlights the existence of evil in the world and the need for individuals to resist its allure. The belief in the devil has influenced religious teachings and practices throughout history. Concepts such as sin, repentance, and the need for spiritual warfare against the forces of evil are rooted in the understanding of the devil's influence. Religious communities often emphasize the importance of discernment, prayer, and moral righteousness to resist the devil's temptations and live a faithful life. Outside of religious contexts, the concept of the devil has also permeated literature, art, and popular culture. The devil is often depicted as a figure of fear, representing the embodiment of evil and the consequences of moral transgressions. These portrayals serve as cautionary tales, urging individuals to reflect on their actions and the potential consequences of aligning themselves with evil. In biblical literature, the concept of demons as fallen angels is derived from various passages that describe the rebellion and fall of certain celestial beings. While the Bible does not provide a comprehensive account of the origin and nature of demons, there are references that suggest a connection between demons and fallen angels. The belief that demons were once angels stems primarily from passages in the New Testament, particularly the book of Revelation and the teachings of Jesus. In Revelation, it is stated that a great war occurred in heaven, where the dragon, identified as Satan, and his angels fought against Michael and his angels. The dragon and his angels were defeated and cast out of heaven, and they were no longer permitted to reside in the divine realm. This event is often interpreted as the rebellion of certain angels against God, resulting in their expulsion from heaven and their transformation into demons. The fallen angels, led by Satan, are believed to have become corrupt and aligned themselves with evil, seeking to deceive and tempt humanity. Additionally, Jesus referred to Satan as the ruler of demons in several instances. For example, in Matthew, the Pharisees accused Jesus of casting out demons by the power of Beelzebul, the prince of demons. Jesus responds by saying that if Satan casts out Satan, then his kingdom is divided and cannot stand. This implies a hierarchical structure among demons, with Satan as their leader. While the Bible does not provide extensive details about the origin and nature of demons, these passages suggest a connection between demons and fallen angels. It is important to note, however, that the Bible does not explicitly state that all demons were once angels. Some scholars interpret these passages as symbolic or metaphorical rather than literal, highlighting the spiritual battle between good and evil rather than presenting a detailed account of angelic rebellion. The belief in fallen angels transforming into demons has influenced religious teachings and traditions. Various religious texts and apocryphal writings provide additional details and narratives about the fall of angels and their transformation into demonic entities. These sources often expand on the characteristics and activities of demons, portraying them as malevolent beings who seek to harm and deceive humanity. The concept of fallen angels turned demons has also been depicted in artistic and literary works throughout history. These portrayals often explore the themes of temptation, sin, and the cosmic battle between good and evil. The concept of God casting out Satan is rooted in various religious traditions and scriptural texts, including Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. While the specific details and interpretations may differ among these traditions, the general idea revolves around a cosmic battle between good and evil, with God exercising judgment and banishing Satan from his presence. In Christianity, Satan is depicted as a fallen angel who rebelled against God's authority and sought to exalt himself above God. The story of Satan's fall is often associated with pride and disobedience. According to Christian belief, Satan's desire for power and autonomy led to his expulsion from heaven. One of the primary reasons given for God's casting out of Satan is the inherent contradiction between Satan's nature and God's nature. God is seen as all-knowing, all-powerful, and perfectly good, while Satan is depicted as deceitful, malevolent, and opposed to God's plan for creation. Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, and the world's tallest freestanding mountain, has long been a source of fascination for explorers, geologists, and historians alike. Its diverse ecosystems, unique geological features, and storied history have made it a prominent subject of scientific research and exploration. In recent years, a team of archaeologists and historians uncovered a remarkable biblical secret buried within the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro, shedding new light on the region's history and its connections to ancient civilizations. In 2000, a team of archaeologists, led by renowned historians and experts in biblical archaeology, embarked on an expedition to Mount Kilimanjaro to study its geological features and potential historical sites. According to a thorough examination of 6 cores that were extracted from the quickly decreasing ice fields at the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, it has been determined that these tropical glaciers began forming approximately 11,700 years ago. The tropical regions were affected by 3 major droughts thousands of years ago. Lonnie Thompson, a geology professor from Ohio State University, who led an expedition in the year 2000 to retrieve these cores, described Kilimanjaro's ice fields as stagnant and said that they are currently in a state of decline. Although the biblical story of Joseph is one that is well documented, not only in the Christian Bible, but also in the Torah and Quran, it has generally been treated as a highly dramatized story very loosely based on possible historical events that are intended to teach a lesson, rather than act as a definitive record of what occurred. The story begins with Joseph, the 11th of 12 sons, who was highly favored by his father Jacob, much to the irritation of the 11 other brothers. He was gifted a token of this favoritism in the form of a lavishly colored coat that sparked the jealousy of his other brothers. The Bible says that the coat was colored with red and purple dyes, which were the most prestigious and valuable colors in the ancient world due to their extreme cost and difficulty in procurement. Faced with such a blatant display of partiality and frightened of the meaning behind strange dreams that he kept having, Joseph's brothers sold him to an Egyptian merchant and returned the coat to Jacob, smeared with goat's blood and claiming that Joseph had passed away. Once in Egypt, Joseph was imprisoned, but his continuing prophetic dreams and skills in interpretation allowed him to gain the attention of the Pharaoh, who was troubled with disturbing dreams. Joseph said that the Pharaoh's dreams indicated that there were to be 7 years of plenty in Egypt, followed by 7 years of famine, and he was given the task of advising the Pharaoh in preparations for the years of famine. During this time, Joseph rose through the ranks of the Egyptian court and quickly became one of the most prominent members of the government, as he oversaw grain storage and preparations to see Egypt through the impending 7 years of famine. There has never been a record of any high-ranking Egyptian during this period who was called Joseph, and because it was highly unlikely that a foreign servant-turned-prisoner could reach the ranks of top advisor to the pharaoh, it was always thought that this story was more of a richly embellished parable than a factual tale recounting actual events. However, a recent discovery in Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania has lent some credence to Joseph's story. Mount Kilimanjaro is the source of the Nile River's water, and the Nile River was, and still is, the lifeblood of Egypt. Without it full and flowing, crops and livestock would weaken and would stop growing, and famine would spread across the land, just as Joseph predicted in his interpretations of the pharaoh's dreams. And studies of Kilimanjaro ice cores have found that there was a massive drought that took place about 3,600 years ago, around the same time that Joseph would have been advising the king. Additionally, a canal that was built to keep the Nile River branches open and flowing and allow the tributaries around it to remain fertile did such an excellent job that it is still in use today and functions successfully. Nobody knows who built the canal, but its Arabic name has been passed down from ancient times by the people who live nearby and translates to the waterway of Joseph, leading many to believe that it was built by Joseph in an effort to reduce the impact of the famine. While we may never know which parts of the story are true and which are myths, it certainly seems that these historical discoveries lend credence to the biblical events. The discovery also has significant implications for the study of biblical archaeology, as it provides tangible evidence of the widespread influence of the ancient Israelite civilization and its interactions with other cultures. It underscores the importance of continued research and exploration in order to uncover new insights into the history of the Israelites and their connections to other ancient civilizations. The unearthing of a biblical secret on Mount Kilimanjaro represents a remarkable achievement in the field of archaeology and serves as a testament to the power of interdisciplinary research and exploration. The discovery on the slopes of Africa's highest peak challenges our understanding of the region's history and the connections between ancient civilizations. As scientists continue to delve into the secrets of the past, new discoveries, such as this one, have the potential to reshape our understanding of human history.
Leonard Woolley and the Flood, Mesopotamian archaeological evidence. The Mesopotamian flood has been speculated on for centuries and has been investigated time and time again. The majority of historians assert that the Great Flood occurred during the rise of humanity and was the source of the fabled biblical tale of Noah's Ark. During excavations in 1928 to 1929, archaeologists at the historical sites of Ur and Kish unearthed flood deposits which they connected with the flood as according to ancient Hebrew scriptures. Sir Charles Leonard Woolley, a famous British archaeologist, arrived at the scene to investigate further, and it did not take him long to reach his conclusion. It was, in his eyes, proof of the flood. In an excerpt from his 1954 book, he states, "By the time I had written up my notes, I was quite convinced of what it all meant, but I wanted to see whether others would come to the same conclusion. So I brought up two of my staff and, after pointing out the facts, asked for their explanation. They did not know what to say. My wife came along and looked and was asked the same question, and she turned away, remarking casually, 'Well, of course, it's the flood.' The first test pit used by Woolley was tiny, so the following archaeological season he dug up several more test pits, one of which being ridiculously large, 75 by 60 feet and 65 feet deep. In this pit, he found a deposit of clean, water-laid soil up to 11 feet thick. Notably, this evidence of the flood was lacking in several other pits in the area, but Woolley wholeheartedly believed that he had found proof of the biblical flood. After only a few years, another discovery was made at a third Mesopotamian site, Shurupak, where they found a flood stratum. According to myth, Ziusudra, the Sumerian Noah, lived in Shurupak. This flood residue separated the skeletal remains from the late Proto-Literate and early dynastic period, dating around 2950 and 2850 BCE, though no other Mesopotamian sites have any such evidence. Despite an attempt made by the creationists to decide an exact timeline for biblical events, the Bible lacks any specific dates for the flood that occurred in Genesis, or any other mentioned happening. Stories of the Mesopotamian flood are useful since one is able to draw similarities and contrast differences between the flood of Noah's Ark in Hebrew scriptures and the myth of the Mesopotamian floods and debate whether they were one and the same. Many scholars through the ages have believed wholeheartedly that the similarities between the two provide irrefutable proof of the biblical flood's existence. As such, the widely accepted view is that the original accounts that appear in Genesis arose in Mesopotamia, and this is further proven by the fact that Mesopotamian accounts of such great terrible flood outdate the accounts made in the Bible. Furthermore, the Sumerian king list references a great flood. The king list is a very complicated document which has multiple editions. It's thought that it was created at some point in 2100 BCE. The king list is a report of every monarch and all the dynasties of ancient Mesopotamia, from the origin of kingship, which descended from heaven, up until the time it was made. However, the list is flawed. The length of each king's reign is impossibly long, and several early dynasties have glaring discrepancies. Even with these mistakes in mind, the Sumerian king list is a valuable document which has preserved names and bloodlines of real ancient rulers. According to the king list, the flood destroyed everything, cutting through the dynasties until kingship once again descended from heaven and the list of rulers continued. The majority of modern creationists often choose to ignore the Sumerian king list completely, stating that the Mesopotamian flood does not fall into agreement with the liberalist view of the Genesis flood. Primarily the fact that, if the Bible is to be taken seriously, Noah and his family were the flood's only survivors. The king list opposes this view. The problem is that if you ignore the evidence provided by the Sumerian king list, then the findings at Ur and Kish must too be ignored, as they only support claims of a local flood which would have certainly left survivors. The flood, though intense, was not nearly as large-scale as the Bible claimed its Genesis flood to have been, and though severely destructive, would not have destroyed every human in its vicinity. The question of whether what Leonard Woolley found was the remnants of the biblical flood or simply an unrelated natural disaster has yet to be answered because there is a lack of modern investigation. The flooding of southern Mesopotamia was presumably disastrous enough for stories of a great flood to spread through the country and ancient world. But because the records we have are so old and were passed down by word of mouth for centuries before being written down, many details have surely been exaggerated or simply lost to time. A relic of the precious blood. In 1247, King Henry III claimed to have his hands on an incredibly precious artifact, a vial containing Jesus' blood. He instructed his nobles to gather for a meeting at Westminster Abbey, London, for the purpose of sharing something with them. This was of the utmost importance, but at the time did not say exactly what he would be disclosing prior to the event. Rather, he only referred to it in vague terms as a holy benefit. As the nobles eagerly and curiously gathered, King Henry finally disclosed the reasoning behind such a gathering. He relayed that he was in possession of what he claimed to be drops of Jesus' blood, which was securely enclosed within a vial. His claims were backed up by various means that would have indicated immense credibility at the time, such as seals from bishops, Knights Templars, and the Patriarch of Jerusalem. The king ceremoniously carried the vial within his own hands, taking it to the abbey where he entrusted it in the hands of monks. The bishop claimed that whoever praised the relic would be blessed with 6 years plus 160 days of indulgences. For avid Christian followers, this was most certainly a holy benefit. Surprisingly though, the reveal of the relic did not gather as much attention as one would expect. This was probably due to the fact that its authenticity and credibility was questioned. Another similar relic was claimed to have been found in a different abbey located in Gloucestershire. This artifact was met with a lot more excitement. As it turns out though, whoever doubted the authenticity of the relic was not wrong to do so. In fact, King Henry VIII put the vial to the test. The examiners concluded that it was not Jesus' blood, but rather a combination mixture of honey, saffron, and maybe goose blood. Some argue that it may have been presented as a political move on King Henry III's part to gain the trust of his people. Today, other exhibits with the same claims exist, with the most famous one being the Basilica of the Holy Blood located in Belgium.
Someone found this huge object above the eastern Pacific. It was captured using the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Tropical Pacific Weather Channel. The man who found it put the recording on a loop, and during this, a huge triangular object appears. Oddly enough, the man stated that the object is around half the size of Mexico. The triangular object was caught hovering above the ocean and was detected by satellite. The man who found it said that he's never seen anything like it, noting that he often checks this live camera feed, and nothing of this size has ever showed up before. The man went on to explain that the object was visible for over 7 hours, saying that it wasn't just a random cloud formation or glitch, and said that it stayed in the same location. These black triangle objects have been witnessed for several decades now, with researchers into the unknown saying that sightings can be traced back hundreds of years. These enigmatic triangular crafts have been spotted all over the world, leading to fervent speculation and debate among researchers and enthusiasts. Black triangle sightings began to gain prominence in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Witnesses described these crafts as large, dark, silent, and triangular in shape, often with bright lights at each corner. These sightings caught the attention of researchers, who were intrigued by the consistent descriptions from witnesses around the globe. Black triangles have been reported in various countries, including the United States, United Kingdom, Mexico, and Japan. Witnesses describe seeing these crafts hovering silently in the sky or moving at high speeds. The origins of these black triangles remain a subject of speculation and debate. Several hypotheses have been proposed to explain these sightings. Skeptics argue that black triangles are classified military aircraft undergoing testing or surveillance operations. The secretive nature of military programs could explain the lack of public acknowledgement. Interestingly, though, various eyewitnesses have reported seeing these black triangles hovering above the ocean. While many unidentified objects are witnessed in the skies above land, there is a growing body of evidence and speculation that suggests these objects may also have a significant interest in the oceans. One of the primary reasons these objects might be interested in the oceans is the abundance of water. Earth is the only planet known to have vast oceans of liquid water, a precious resource that could be of immense value to advanced civilizations. Water is essential for sustaining life as we know it, and it is possible that unidentified objects are searching for or monitoring Earth's oceans in their quest for habitable environments. The oceans represent some of the most unexplored and diverse ecosystems on Earth. These deep and largely unknown environments harbor an incredible variety of life forms, many of which are yet to be discovered by humans. It is conceivable that these objects, equipped with advanced sensing technologies, are interested in studying these unique ecosystems and their inhabitants to better understand the diversity of life in the universe. One intriguing theory put forth by some researchers is the possibility of submerged bases in Earth's oceans. If unidentified objects are of advanced origin, it is conceivable that they might have established bases underwater to remain hidden and undetected from human observation. These underwater bases could serve as research outposts or staging areas for their activities on Earth. Numerous sightings have been reported in close proximity to marine life, particularly with regard to encounters with whales and dolphins. Some witnesses have described these objects emerging from or submerging into the ocean, suggesting a connection between unidentified objects and marine life. This has led some researchers to speculate about potential communication or interaction between these objects and Earth's intelligent marine species. Another speculative theory is that unidentified objects may be interested in extracting resources from the oceans. Earth's oceans contain vast amounts of minerals and elements, some of which may be scarce or highly valuable in other parts of the universe. Advanced civilizations may view our oceans as a potential source of valuable resources, leading them to explore or exploit these underwater reserves. The oceans are also home to various forms of energy, including geothermal vents, which release hot, mineral-rich water from beneath the Earth's surface. Such energy sources could be of interest to advanced civilizations seeking sustainable and renewable energy solutions. These aircrafts might be monitoring or harnessing these energy reserves to power their craft or other technologies. The vastness and depth of the oceans offer a convenient environment for concealment and surveillance. These aircrafts could use the ocean as a hiding place or base of operations, especially given that human exploration and surveillance technologies are less developed underwater than in space or on land. The ocean's depths also provide an effective shield against human detection. As of right now, the Earth's oceans are a fascinating and mysterious aspect of the broader phenomenon. While there is no definitive evidence to confirm the reasons behind this apparent attraction, numerous scientific theories and speculative ideas offer plausible explanations. Whether these objects are drawn to Earth's oceans for resources, water, or the study of marine life, their presence and activities remain one of the greatest enigmas of our time. This isn't the first time that something like this has been detected, and former workers have come forward and detailed that these objects are occasionally witnessed. Back in 2008, a team of National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration scientists embarked on a routine research expedition aboard their state-of-the-art research vessel. Their mission was to study marine life and oceanic currents in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. However, one of the workers said that this voyage would lead them to an encounter that would defy their understanding of the world. As the vessel sailed through the tranquil waters, the scientists immersed themselves in their work, meticulously collecting data and observing marine creatures. Dr. Walker, the lead marine biologist, had always been fascinated by the mysteries of the deep sea. As night fell, the team continued their observations under the shimmering moonlight. Suddenly, an unusual blip appeared on the ship's radar, catching the attention of Dr. Walker and the crew. They were puzzled by the mysterious signal, as there were no other vessels reported in the vicinity. With a sense of anticipation, the crew followed the radar signal, leading them to an area where the ocean currents seemed to converge. As they approached, an eerie silence enveloped the ship, broken only by the gentle lapping of the waves against the hull. Then, out of the darkness, a breathtaking sight unfolded before them. A massive, triangle-shaped object hovered above the water, emitting a soft, ethereal glow. The mysterious craft seemed to defy the laws of physics, maintaining a steady position in the air without any visible means of propulsion. Amidst the astonishment, Dr. Walker quickly grabbed her camera and began capturing images of the otherworldly spectacle. The crew members, equally mesmerized, exchanged bewildered glances as they tried to make sense of the inexplicable sighting. Captain Reynolds radioed to other National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration vessels that were in the area, reporting their sighting with an air of incredulity. The situation was unprecedented, and the crew knew that their encounter would be met with skepticism back home. As the night wore on, the enigmatic triangle object remained suspended above the ocean, seemingly unbothered by the presence of the workers. Dr. Walker and her team observed the object's peculiar light patterns, noting how it occasionally emitted bright flashes before dimming again. Suddenly, the object started to move, gliding noiselessly across the sky. The crew watched in awe as it soared effortlessly above the water, leaving behind a faint trail of shimmering light. The object then made a quick getaway and was not seen for the rest of the mission. Oddly enough, the cameras were taken from the crew, and they were told not to speak of their encounter. So, what do you make of this mysterious object? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.